Hello, welcome to episode 5 of 12 Days of Workforce Wisdom, Reflections, Realities, and Resets to wrap 2025 and power 2026. My return guest today is one of my favorites, my friend, founder of the Inclusion Learning Lab, keynote speaker, 3-time best-selling author, hailing from the great state of, can I even say that? That's a great state of Florida. Margaret Spence. Welcome back, Margaret.
Thank you, Kirsten. I'm so happy to be back. I was excited when I got the invitation from you to come back.
So yes, I was excited to invite you because, like I said, you are one of my faves and you always bring the heat. All right, we're going to jump right in with reflections. Looking back on 2025, what stood out to you as the most defining shifts in how women are navigating career growth amid rapid AI disruption?
I think if I want to say something about 2025, I have a sticker on my desk that says rethinking everything. Right. I spoke at South by Southwest earlier this year, and I went to a facilitation workshop, and the gentleman handed out these signs that says, I've been thinking a lot about, and it had a blank, and then it had a spot for you to put your name. So I wrote, I've been thinking about rethinking everything. And I wrote my name, Margaret. So most people would have left the conference, tore this off, gone about their happy, merry life, and never thought about it again. I brought the sticker home February 14th, 15th, March 14th, 15th, and I put it on my desk. Because I think this is the, I didn't plan to write rethinking everything. You know, you walk in the room and they give you the podium thing is there and all the signs are there and you pick one, and I picked this one. And I wrote rethinking everything. I think this year has been rethinking everything. For women, if we continue to think that things are going to stay the same, we are making a mistake. Yeah. For those of us in talent and HR and the other spaces that occupy for talent, if we think 2026 is going to be the same, then we should have rethought the entire 2025. So I think we are in the midst of disruption and we are supposed to be rethinking everything.
I love that. And I love that you keep reflecting on something that you wrote down, that you brought to conference. A lot of times we go to these conferences and then, we get the swag and we, remember maybe 1 or 2 conversations, but a lot of times we don't necessarily bring anything back that we can apply. That didn't dawn on me until years ago, having gone to conferences. And again, going to conferences for what I would say was the vanity. And I'm not saying that's what you do, but that's what I was doing that at that point in my career, and the VP that was very supportive of people going to conferences would always, if he was going to send you, he would always say, when you come back, I want you to do a brown bag on your experience at the conference, because he wanted to make sure that we learned something. And not only that we learned something, but that we learned it in a way that we could apply and that we could give to other people who didn't have the opportunity to go. So I love that you did that and that you keep reminding yourself. And now you have reminded the audience to rethink everything. I'm going to write that one down because I have a bunch of stickies behind, that people can't see that I look at. When I look up, I have a reminder there. And I have one from you, by the way, too. Something from one of our talks, and I wrote it down, and I'm like, all right. One of these days I'm going to get to it and pull it off the board, but we'll see. Okay, back to you. I spent decades helping organizations rethink inclusion and talent management. What would you say are the biggest misconceptions leaders still have about supporting women, especially women of color, through technological transformation?
I think right now what I'm seeing is fear of supporting women. There is a huge fear of supporting women. I have large organizations that I've worked with for multiple years who have scaled back, reworked, rethought, readjusted, changed, and they're trying to do the let's make stuff for everyone syndrome, right? And so as we contort ourselves to meet this imaginary place that we think we want to go to, women are at risk of losing the gains that we have made over the years, because organizations do not have the institutional spine to say women need to be developed differently. And so rather than having their institutional spine to continue to say women need to be developed differently, they would rather contort and try to turn women's leadership development programs into the everybody leadership. Let's just throw everybody in the pile, throw them all in there, because, oh boy, we're afraid that somebody's going to complain that we have a program for women. And so I'm calling it institutional spine, or the lack thereof.
I love that. And you are 100% right. I think it is a fear. And I think in some ways, the people that mean well, they become, if this is a word, over inclusive. And then that does not meet the goal that you actually set out to meet in the beginning. So if you have something set aside for women, but then it's not exclusively for people who identify as women anymore, then you just have a program.
Right.
You don't have a program for women. Okay.
You have a program for women, especially when the programs have worked for years. You have results. You've seen what it's done. You've seen how your male numbers have shifted to be more inclusive. And now all of a sudden you want to make development programs for the everybody. We had the everybody. We did the everybody before, and women did not succeed. So now when it comes to Black women, what I see in leadership development programs is twofold. For Black women, we're only, if we're going to make a class of 75 women in a leadership development program, we'd be lucky to put 2 Black women in there. Wow. Okay. And I've been doing this now for 20 years, not yesterday, not the day before. It is consistent. I have clients that I run women's leadership development programs for them. Okay. And I will get a cohort every year, and there will be 1 woman of color, 1 Asian woman, 1 Hispanic woman, and the rest are all white women. So we still only get 1 spot in these development programs. And the challenge is, so many of us as Black women are waiting for the organization to develop us, versus saying, I will be developed and I'm going to spend the money to be developed.
Wow. You led me into the reality of it with that last bar you dropped. So going back to something you said earlier about South by Southwest, you spoke about the AI skills gap for women there. Yes. What real world challenges are women facing right now when it comes to AI literacy, to upskilling and staying visible in a shifting talent market? And then what role must organizations play in closing that gap?
Yeah, so my speech at South by Southwest was the radical economics of upskilling women for an AI future. 75% of women are in roles that will be disrupted by AI. That has already been designed. 75% of women are in roles that are designed to be eliminated by AI. This is not hyperbole. There are studies that have been done by UNESCO, by the UN, by even Korn Ferry, other organizations. Lots of organizations have done these studies, right? So I didn't pull this number out of the air. The reason why women are in those roles is because we've typically been in the clerical supportive roles over generations, right? Even if we have a title of manager or VP, the reality is that we are working within a structure that is about paper pushing. We're pushing the paper from left to right. The AI can do the paper pushing role, and that ultimately eliminates us. Earlier this year in April, before it was a thing, I wrote an article because I saw the trend of Black women being affected by layoffs. And I wrote the trend saying, everybody is going to jump on the DEI wagon, which is exactly what happened. Everybody's going to jump on the DEI wagon. It's DEI, it's DEI, it's DEI, right? Which is annoying because no one that got on TV, got in front of the media, that did any of that actually did the math around what it was. Okay. Yes, the federal government lost workers. Yes, the federal government laid off proportionately more black men and women than any other subset because we were in the federal workforce. But the
Yep.
majority of what has happened to us is we have been laid off due to AI.
Okay.
The majority of it. And so here's the problem that we have. There's a level of fear that especially Black people have around AI. There's a level of Big Brother watching us. There's a level of, should I trust this technology? There's a level of that going on, especially for the middle age, higher experienced worker.
Okay.
So you will find your 20 somethings grabbing the technology by the horn. Okay, I'll give you an example. I think it was Accenture that recently did some huge layoffs, and they laid people off based on their inability to adapt to AI. There's their inability to adapt to AI.
Okay.
So part of the problem that we have is organizations are constraining the ability to learn AI effectively. They're putting in guardrails. For example, I am teaching the AI in instructional design for the Association of Training and Development.
Okay.
I teach that class now. I facilitate it almost every couple of weeks. I have a cohort of 20, 30 people. In those cohorts, I'll ask the question, what training are you getting from your organization to use AI? And they'll say none. They just turned it on because it came with a package. It's Copilot. It got turned on. But they're not training people to use the AI effectively in their work. It's been a part of a package and somebody turned it on. Then we have other organizations, and I'm doing this from teaching the AI program, and I'm getting a cross section of people in the AI program every week for ATD. And in that cross section, I'll say, well, what training did you get? None. Then I'll get, well, what's the constraint that the organization has put on you? Well, they said we can only use this program. We can't put this in there. We can't do that with it. We can't do this. We can't do that. Again, that's a second layer of lack of learning.
Okay.
That is couched in safety and security. We want to make sure that our intellectual property doesn't end up in the AI, but what it is a detriment to frontline employees who may or may not be displaced by this AI process. So upskilling means nothing because we don't even understand what the word physically means.
I'm glad you mentioned that about the amount of companies that are embracing AI but don't really have a plan for it. I don't know if you saw that MIT study that said 95% of the pilots fail. So that's a great segue to my next question. As companies are embracing AI, they're saying to accelerate productivity, they're not doing it inclusively. What signals should employees and leaders as well pay attention to when they are evaluating AI adoption and whether it's widening or narrowing inequities in the workplace?
So I think one of the challenges, I'm working right now on a new book. My new book is When AI Breaks the Law, AI Governance for Talent Leaders. A part of the AI governance process and reason why I'm doing AI governance for talent leaders is there is AI governance for the organization, but there is a separate subset of AI governance for talent that is not being talked about. And we can't say the word DEI, but here's the thing. AI is neutralizing inclusivity. It's affecting equity. It's neutralizing equality. So the question is, and what I asked, I was main stage speaker at ATD in May, and I asked the audience, where are your invisible people? When you think about AI, who is invisible? When you think about AI and skills level, who is not going to get the opportunity? Who will be omitted from the opportunity to learn and grow with this product?
Yeah.
Is it going to be the same people? What the shift that is occurring right now, Kirsten, is you have the young people coming out of college. that are not able to find jobs as fast because we are automating the entry-level jobs that would give them the beginning skills of work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's not a subset of people that won't be affected by this, right? There was a study that came out, I think it was on Thursday or Friday, that said the job loss issue is going to start rearing its head in 2026 when more companies adapt automation behind the scenes that don't require people, right? Because there's an automation behind the scenes that doesn't require people, agentic AI, and the iterations of agentic AI, where you have agents that can work behind the scenes. And yes, you still need human in the loop, a human in the front watching it, but you don't need 100 human. You probably need 3, right? So there's you know, if you've got 97 people that have the potential to lose a job, right? So to answer your question, I think right now, excuse me, nobody's looking at this globally, holistically.
Okay.
They're not looking at it holistically. They're looking at it myopically. Automation, efficiency. That's it.
Yeah. But we're so far behind. I mean, the EU already has governance around the use of AI and how they do so ethically. And we put the cart before the horse, as usual, because we have a bunch of people who don't talk to actual people who do work, to make decisions about how we're going to do work. And we're in the best show we're in right now. Okie dokie, I'm going to get off my soapbox a little bit. Let's go to resets as we wrap 2020. I'm sorry.
So just to pick up on that point, because that's part of the reason why when AI breaks the law, I just want to give you a little pointer, just a little information. You're in the talent acquisition space. Mm-hmm. There's a legal case called Workday, Mobley v. Workday.
Yes.
Okay, where Mr. Mobley applied for jobs in the middle of the night, and within minutes he got rejected from the process. He was asked to take a personality test, which pointed out that he had neurodiversity. He was rejected 100 times over days. The case has been certified class action. There's 1.1 million people that are affected by this case. This is real on the ground AI at its best in the talent cycle. This case and the one with HireVue and the others are all coming
with the interviewing. Out. For people that don't know, HireVue is an interview platform. And Workday is the largest platform where people apply for jobs. And motivated by recruiters.
Yes, exactly. And probably motivated by recruiters, right?
Yes.
But if it is in 1,000 workplaces and I'm applying to 1,000 jobs, why wouldn't the algorithm already know who I am if AI is driving the back end of this? And as I apply, it's making determinations about my ability to do the job or not do the job. We don't know this. And that's
because each company has their own instance, for lack of a better word, has their own instance of the tool. So it's not saying. So that was my question when the case first came up, and just the information that was available in the news cycle, not actually being able to read the documentation. My question was, did this person apply to Workday multiple times, like Workday the company, and they kept getting kicked out? Because at the end of the day, Workday doesn't determine your criteria for exclusion. The individual user, the individual company determines your exclusion from those roles. They configure the system to meet their needs and their requirements. So that's where I always like to, raise my hand and say, stop saying that AI is doing this. A human told this to happen. A human designed it that way.
Okay, so here's the problem. And this is a fundamental issue that we, especially as Black people, need to really hone in on, right? As these algorithms get better and better and better, right? What has happened here is if an organization is training the AI instance of Workday with their
Hmm.
historic data around
And their
how they hire,
biases.
and their
Yes,
biases, the AI is picking up all of their biases, all of their
absolutely.
exclusion, all of their stuff is being baked in there. And the algorithm that's been designed by Workday, that's at the front of this, right, is now been tuned in to find those.
Hmm.
So it's tuned all over the place to find that. And so
But
what
it's not a
happens
Workday
is
exclusive issue. Is my point, is that it's not a work exclusive issue. It's a human issue. It's a talent issue. This is how they, for lack of a better word, it's how they've always done it. The biases exist, and that's why they're showing up in the technology.
the technology is the problem. The
Okay.
technology has never been tuned to eliminate the bias or tell the end user that their bias
Hmm.
exists and ask what should be fixed. The
Yeah.
technology has been built to take the bias, stir it up, and speed it back.
Yes.
Right? That's where the EU AI Act comes in, because the EU AI Act is now saying you have to fix that. This
Hmm.
can't be so. But the US doesn't have that as a law. There are
No.
several states that have done their own individual laws, but the EU AI Act is saying you can't do this thing that you want to do, right? So, having, to put a bow on this, at the end of the day, we have to be way more conscious about our career processes,
Mm.
about our career growth, about how the algorithm is going to ultimately affect our careers long term. And we
Okay.
also have to be ready with an exit strategy now going forward.
Ooh.
Okay. There's no, I have a career and my career is going to be my career forever. And this is the thing. And I've got this profession and I've got this thing and I've got this thing. You could take that all and throw it away now and say moment by moment, how has the algorithm advanced to affect me personally in my career and my role and my job and my industry?
Hmm.
How is the algorithm advancing this week to affect my industry, my role, my job title, and me as a professional? And if it's advancing like this in my profession, then I need to stop immediately, get your head out of the sand, and start to make proactive moves towards your career.
Yeah.
And we don't tend to do that.
Very true. I think you answered my next two questions, but I'm going to ask them anyway.
As I go off on a tangent, I'm like,
No, no, you gave the advice that I'm about to ask you to give. So as we got 2025, what is one belief or behavior you think organizations need to leave behind if they truly want to build inclusive, future-ready workplaces where women can thrive?
the one thing they need to leave behind is the systems that they think are normative. These normal things that you think
Mm.
you are doing on a normal basis, right? Um, all of that, um, all of that that you think is normal needs to be stopped, right? Everything that you think is normal needs to be upended. There is no normal anymore, right? There are customized programs that have to be built to advance people individually and as a group and
Mm.
as a subset of the organization. And we have to
Okay,
critically ask the question, who are we leaving behind? That's a
that's a great
critical question.
question.
Yeah, who are
That's
we
a great
leaving
question.
behind? Who are we forgetting? Because we can forget the janitor in the organization without realizing that the vacuum cleaner we're giving that person to vacuum is now run by AI, right? Or we can forget about the people who work in our plant operations, who are our widget makers, and
Yeah.
advance the machines in those plants with AI and forget that those people have had little to no training and they have little to no access to the technology or the
Mm.
technology platforms. Or we can
Yeah.
focus on only the women in our corporate structure and say, okay, these are the only women we're focusing on. or we're going to focus on people at levels within the organization, and we're not going to focus on other levels of the organization. This is a time for us to democratize learning. Learning cannot be gated in organizations anymore. There needs to be a democratic process of educating every single person about AI use, how it works, what to do with it, how to make your life better with it. And if we don't do that in a democratic way, a whole slot of people are going to be left behind.
Absolutely. You heard that? Don't gatekeep knowledge. Don't gatekeep learning.
Right.
Very simple. Okay.
That's it.
Now,
very simple.
As we power into 2026, what is one piece of your wisdom you want women, emerging leaders, and inclusive organizations to carry forward to stay ready for this AI-driven change?
Educate yourself every day. Period.
Okay.
I was in the middle of teaching the AI and instructional design program on Tuesday. My class is a hands-on class. We all went into ChatGPT to do some stuff in ChatGPT. The algorithm was down. The class lasted 4 hours. When it came back up 3.5 hours later, it was completely different from what it was when the 3.5 hours before we started the class. Okay, we were using Gemini. Gemini was updated on Monday. It can do all kinds of stuff now that it couldn't do before. And I was teaching the class. The way that ATD does their program is we, the instructor, actually build the curriculum as we're going, because things like this happen. We were in the middle of the class on Tuesday. Several of the softwares went down. When they came back up for Thursday's class, everything had changed. Okay, and that's what this is right now. It's hyperactive growth of the algorithm, growth of the process. I consider myself to be a power user on 7 different AI platforms. And so you have to get there. You have to get there. And you cannot say, my organization is going to make this happen for me. Bunk the organization. The only thing the organization is giving you right now is a check and a job until they decide that the algorithm can do it better than you. Because every person right now is training the algorithm, and the algorithm will make a decision at some point in 2026, because 2027 is a demarcation year. 2030 is the complete shift of everything that we know around talent. Wow. So let me give you the urgency. 2026, the EU AI Act comes into play, right? But also 2026 is when the technology is supposed to be tapped. It's supposed to be so good that it can actually do a lot of the functional work. Right now, if an organization is serious about disrupting you, then the organization will be using you to train the algorithm. Mm-hmm. And because women are in the roles that are the easiest to document, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you can document the role all the way through. If you can document the role from A to Z, the role can be disrupted by AI. Yeah. Right. And so we have to say, how do I become undisruptible in 2026? What do I need to do for my personal growth to make sure that I have a job? And for Black women, we are the breadwinners. We are the high earners. We are often taking care of multiple layers of our family. We've already seen that the algorithm has come for us with 1 million people losing their jobs. I don't care what anybody says about DEI. That is not DEI. That is AI, right? And so what do? We have to stay ahead of the curve. And we also have to rethink how we think about careers. Right now, our career process is, I get a job, I go here, I do that. We also have to let go of some of that and recognize that the career platform may not look this way by the end of 2026. Okay. The career platform may look very different by 2026. And so how do we make sure that we are staying in front of it? And the last thing I want to say is invest in yourself. If you can go out and buy some red bottom shoes, you can pay to invest in your own growth. If you can go out and buy Chanel and Gucci, you can invest in your own growth.
Ooh,
If you can
ooh.
shop every week and buy clothes and buy stuff, I'm not the one doing this. If you can do all of that, you can invest in your own growth around AI. Nobody's going to open that checkbook for you. And I'm speaking directly to Black women, Black men, Black folks. Nobody's opening this paycheck for us. Nobody's opening, nobody's paying for it for us. We're going to have to learn it because we are the ones most at risk of disruption in 2026 and beyond.
Yeah. Woo! I always get a free masterclass when I talk to you.
I'm sorry, people might be mad at me and I may think I'm a hater.
I love
I'm not
how
a
you
hater.
challenge me. I love how you challenge me. I love it.
I'm challenging everybody to say, have no expectations of them doing stuff for us.
Correct. Yeah.
None.
All right. Well, before I let you go, I've got on my holiday stuff. I'm being festive today. Yeah, I'm being festive today because I noticed that the previous episodes I I was still in the Grinch mode. So I'm fully embracing the holiday season now. All right, and I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite holiday tradition?
I don't necessarily have one, but I'm Jamaican for everybody that doesn't know that. I'm Jamaican. This year's a little bit, sad for us because of the hurricane. But for me, I bake. I'm a baker and I'm a cook. And so I cook very extensively and I bake very extensively. So we bake the Jamaican fruit cake for the holidays. So I have my pans and my stuff ready to go. This weekend, got my fruit soaking and my rum rumming and my whole bit, and I will be baking next week in anticipation of the holidays. And I will be seasoning up my curry goat and my rice and peas and my blah, blah, blah. So if you know where I live, you are surely to come over for dinner.
Okay. Let me see about these flights to where you live.
So that is the favorite part of the holidays is cooking and having my nieces come over and my kids drop in and friends and relatives drop in over the holiday week between Christmas and New Year's. And I'm just cooking, and I make a mean bread pudding.
You do? Okay.
Yes. So that's my holiday thing. It's cooking.
You heard it here. Get some bread pudding from Margaret. At least get the recipe. All right.
Appleton rum in my bread pudding, ladies.
Appleton. Okay.
Appleton rum in my bread pudding.
Is that Jamaican rum?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Now,
yes,
I am not allowed to drink Jamaican rum. That's all I'm gonna say. The people that know why, that's all I'm gonna say. No.
Yeah, you've had an episode with Mr. Ray and his nephews. Yes, because Ray and nephew.
Someone brought me some back from a trip. This was maybe now 20 years ago, maybe. And I haven't had it since because that was enough for me. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mr. Ray and his nephews came a knocking.
Yes. Okay. Before I let you go, do you set New Year's resolutions? And if so, do you have a unique one you'd like to share?
So my resolution for 2026 is do it faster.
Ooh.
So I'm going to take down Rethinking Everything and I'm going to put a new sign up that says do it faster.
Okay.
I think we tend to second guess doing things fast and we spend a lot of time second guessing it. I know I do. And so what I'm doing now is saying, let's do it faster. Okay. And I think that's my motto for for 2020, 2026 to do it faster.
I love it.
Yeah.
What a great way to close out the first week of 12 Days of Workforce Wisdom with my friend, Margaret Spence, again, the founder of Inclusion Learning Lab. Make sure you check her out and make sure you come back for episode 6 through 12 starting next week. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care.